Alright, I'm here in Industrialist, and I had a pretty interesting idea today. I'm going to try to speedrun the end of the world in this game, which I will be speedrunning getting this badge, the Forlorn Hope. And basically, I'm just going to go over this real quick. The rules of the speedrun, it's going to be on a normal world, and I'm just going to be able to use whatever I want, and I just have to try to get that badge as fast as possible, and that's about it. And the time starts when I enter the world, so here we go. Just so you know, the rest of this video will be in a voiceover. I immediately started by getting down some coal drills. I set up 2 coal drill factories. These will be my first CO2 production, and unfortunately I had to use solar panels to power them because I couldn't really use anything else at the time. This would start making me money and producing CO2. So I hooked these up to trucks and got to selling. After this, I needed to set up some research, so I got some research down and I hooked them up to solar panels again, unfortunately, because I needed the power. But we were able to start making research and hopefully unlock more CO2 production. Now that I had some research points saved up, I need to start unlocking new forms of energy. Most notably, I needed to get the coal generator. This would allow me to start producing a lot of CO2 and a lot more energy. I also researched turbines, and I started setting up my first coal generator. Now that I had much better power capabilities, I was able to hook up a lot more research, and also I was able to start getting to work on my first factory. I unlocked furnaces, copper mining, and all the other factory stuff with my newfound research, and I started setting up a copper wire factory. This would be a lot of early game money, and it would also contribute to pollution. Now that I had this factory ready, I instantly got to work on putting down more research. It definitely wasn't pretty, but it was going to work, and that's all that I needed right now. I also set up an iron coil factory, which was basically the same thing as the copper wire factory, but with iron, and it would start making me more money, which is what I needed at the moment. I really needed some more research, so I researched the research station 2, which would allow me to get a lot more research, and I would hook that up to my copper wire factory, along with a bunch of power, which I got compact coal power plants for easier power than setting up an entire coal generator again. And this would allow me to start making a lot more research for my future factories that I would really get some pollution in with. Up to this point, I had mostly just been getting myself situated, really, so I didn't really have a whole lot of pollution production. So that's where my next factory came in. I immediately got to work on oil production. I started by just dumping it straight into the ground, which caused a lot of pollution, but I needed to refine this into diesel so that I could eventually make a lot more pollution. And you'll see how this comes into play later, but oil production is a massive part of the challenge coming up. After powering the entire factory, I hooked it up to a liquid truck, which I then hooked up the gasoline output on the crude oil separator to a gasoline generator, which I would use to power my next and largest factory, a concrete plant. I also hooked up a pollution meter, which told us that we were at 12% pollution, but I then had to log off to do some other stuff. I was back on, and this time I wasn't getting off until the challenge was done. I'd immediately used my gasoline generator that I had set up to start setting up a quarry, which would produce clay and soil, which would be perfect for starting my concrete factory. I also would then set up another quarry for limestone production. Next step was to build the actual factory. Now, if you've ever built a concrete factory before, you know it takes quite a while, and it's pretty much the biggest factory you'll build. It's the biggest factory I built in this run. It would supply me with all the money I needed for the rest of the run, so I got straight to work. With the concrete factory finally done, I had enough money for the entire rest of this challenge. I checked the pollution meter and found that I was at 64%. As you can tell by the haze, it has gotten pretty bad. But now it was finally time for the end game. I'd finally done it. After over 3 hours, I had finally reached 200% pollution and could finally end this challenge. Thank you for watching.